What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Destroy coming at you with our Wednesday video going over running backs this week. Today, it's the biggest price difference we've had all season between two positions. It's $2,700 between Christian McCaffrey and Nick Chubb. Christian McCaffrey home against Washington. Washington's rush defense, pass defense, terrible. Christian McCaffrey has just done Christian McCaffrey things all season long. Good spot here. I'm fine with still paying 10-5 for him. He has not went up yet, which is ridiculous in my opinion for a guy that's consistently hitting value. I think he should go up, but they're leaving him at 10-5. So that is his price again this week, and I'm fine with paying it. Nick Chubb against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's run defense is really good. Nick Chubb has been really good this year. The only reason I'm not going to pick Nick Chubb is because Kareem Hunt has been taking away a lot of his snaps. So it's hard to pay 7-8 for a guy that's almost splitting now. And not that good of a matchup to start with. Derrick Henry up to 7,600, just too expensive, in my opinion. Indianapolis, another good rush defense here. I like Tennessee's pass offense more than I do their rush offense this week against the Colts. $100 cheaper is Leonard Fournette playing against Tampa Bay. Although Tampa Bay has one of the worst pass defenses in the league, they have one of the best rush defenses in the league. And Leonard Fournette, even though he gets a high amount of volume, I just don't like him in this matchup. I'd rather go $100 cheaper and go to, you guessed it, Saquon Barkley playing the Green Bay Packers. You look at his numbers and, man, you're like, this isn't Saquon Barkley, but he's played a Jets defense who was decently at the run. You can see only hit 1 yard. And last week against the Bears, another really good rush defense, 59 yards. Dallas, even that, allowing 28 yards. This is the week that I think Saquon gets back at it. $7,400 is absurd for him. For a team that allows the most rushing touchdowns in the league at 13. And they're also top 5. Yep, top 5 in the league in rushing yards allowed. Not to mention Saquon has been getting a lot of receptions. That Giants offense is just always hurt. The more people that are hurt, the more looks Saquon gets. So, I think Saquon is somebody that we just automatically put in our lineup there. 7,400. James Conner against Cleveland. He's been questionable. I don't know if he's ever going to play again. He's going to play again, but he's just been really banged up. And it's hard to play someone I'd say an average matchup. Cleveland's rush defense is just average. It's hard to pay $7,300 for a guy that's average. Also sharing reps. Le'Veon Bell is probably in one of the best matchups this week. 7,200 against Cincinnati. He's going to get receptions. He's going to get yards. I don't think he's going to do what Ingram did a few weeks ago against Cincinnati. Le'Veon Bell has been putting up pretty consistent numbers. He's only 7,200, which is a pretty fair price against Cincinnati. But if you don't want to go him, I suggest going Josh Jacobs against Kansas City. You look what he did week 2 against Kansas City. He had 12 carries for 99 yards. He's been getting a lot more than that. He's been getting receptions also. The only worry here is Kansas City is just going to take a huge lead against Oakland again, which means Josh Jacobs doesn't see as much rush attempts. That's my only concern here. Kansas City, statistically, the worst defense against the rush. So I'm fine with playing Josh Jacobs or Le'Veon Bell. Right now, I'm just going to put Le'Veon Bell in. Those are my two that I like so far. Go back to running back. Aaron Jones against the Giants. You know what? The Giants have another average defense. allow a decent amount of yardage, which is good for Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones, has been pretty solid of having a bad week and then coming back for another good week, especially against teams that are really good against the run, and then go for teams that aren't as good. Um, just 6,800. At this point, I'd rather pay up for Josh Jacobs at 6,900. Todd Gurley is 6,500 playing against the Cardinals. Cardinals, another team that's fairly good, or not fairly good. They're fairly bad against running backs. My only problem is they allow a decent amount of yards, but they don't allow a lot of touchdowns to running backs. Their red zone defense is really good, and Todd Gurley just hasn't looked good all year. Last week, 4.9, killed my fantasy teams with that performance. But yeah, in this matchup, that Rams passing game just needs to get there. Melvin Gordon against the Denver Broncos rush, I really don't. Another team that's pretty good against the run. And with Austin Eckler still healthy, it's hard to commit to Todd Gurley, who just really hasn't had, look at his games, just really hasn't. Oh, we went back to Todd Gurley. I'm sorry. Melvin Gordon just really hasn't had a really consistency in games, especially with Austin Eckler been there. He does have 5 touchdowns, so he's got that touchdown potential, which is always nice. It's just Denver is a fairly good defense overall. Marlon Mack is out again against Tennessee this week, which means we are going to see some more Jonathan Williams. And man, I benched him last week, and yeah, I mean, look at his 2 numbers in the 2 weeks that he started or played. 1 touchdown, but he's got 220 yards in 2 games. So yeah, that makes it interesting there. Tennessee Titans don't allow a lot of yards, 941, only 7 touchdowns, and only three receiving touchdowns to running backs this year. But from the looks of it, Jonathan Williams is not a huge guy on receptions. But 5,300, if you want to take a really good shot at him, his price I think is really good. For somebody that has only played 2 weeks, granted he's played really well in those 2 weeks, but I think it's still a really good price point. I am staying away from the San Francisco-Baltimore game in general. Regardless, Lamar Jackson is over here at 7K. My only issues is the 49ers are really, really good rush defense. And in my honest opinion, it's going to slow down Lamar Jackson. It's not going to stop him. That's not what I'm saying. Like, he's just going to totally get shut down. But he's not going to get a 60-yard rush game unless he breaks off for a crazy run. I don't see him getting more than 60 rushing yards this game against San Francisco's defense, who's been really, really good. Joe Mixon against the Jets, I don't like at all. Jets, a really good rush defense, really good defense in general. They just had a lot of injuries this year, a lot of young, inexperienced players. But that Jets defense is going to be really good in years to come. Joe Mixon just hasn't been consistent. Andy Dalton's going to be back in the lineup. They're home, but still don't like that matchup at all. Jalen Samuels don't like, regardless. Austin Eckler, he's still been putting up points all year consistently, pretty much. 1 game under 10 points this year, and that was against Pittsburgh in that weird game. But the man has been putting up receptions, yardage. Excuse me. Yardage, touchdowns. If you're going to go a Chargers running back, I would go Eckler here. The fact that he's not a receiver, kind of blows my mind. I mean, they keep him in for the rushes, but he lines up more receiver than he does running back. Drake against the Rams, not really. Rams, another team that is just average against the run. Not too bad, not too good. It's just the Rams defense needs a win here. Arizona's terrible. They're not a good blocking offensive line. They allow a lot of sacks, and I can see the Rams easily come in and take advantage of it. Drake is not somebody who you expect to go off on. Granted, he did go off on the best rush defense in the league, but that was, in my opinion, a one-off. And you also have to look at the health of the other Arizona running backs to make a decision on that also. Kareem Hunt, no. Miles Sanders, I'm fine with playing Miles Sanders as long as Jordan Howard is officially out. He's questionable again. I'm fine with playing Miles Sanders here against Miami. Jonathan Williams, like I said, I'm fine with playing him also. Brown against Arizona, no. Ronald Jones against Jacksonville, sure. Jacksonville allows a lot of yards to running back, and as long as Tampa Bay is going to commit to running this game, 5,100 is a really good price for Ronald Jones here. Philip Lindsay against the Chargers, same thing. Chargers allow over 1,000 yards to running backs this year, 4 touchdowns from receiving, and 9 touchdowns from the ground. Philip Lindsay is pretty much he's going to get at least 60% of the snaps. And Freeman gets 40 or less, so I'm fine with playing Philip Lindsay here also. Injuries from the Kansas City run game, as you can see. Just got to watch to see who is in and who is out. Not really high on the Kansas City running backs as much as I am receivers. We'll go down. Geis, I guess, is the next guy we'll talk about. That was a huge disappointment for me last week. I was really high on him. Had a really good matchup. Playing Carolina this week, I mean, Carolina actually allows the most rushing touchdowns to running backs. I might commit to Geis again. I don't want to. He went down $200. Carolina can easily shut down this Washington offense. It's really hard. We'll see injuries later in the week to see if I can commit to Geis here. And then another option you want to look at, I think, for a really good GPP play is Ty Montgomery against the Bengals. I can easily see the Jets take a really big lead and Ty Montgomery get some snaps in there in that game. That's it for running backs, guys. Picking Barkley and Bell for now. I'm probably going to flex in another running back on Saturday, but we'll see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe for more content and follow us on Twitter at Astrodfs. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video.